Hey guys, today I wanted to talk a little bit about how I accidentally started selling comics over the course of 2026. So, at the start of this year, I had not sold a comic book before. Those that have followed this channel know that the focus of this channel is collecting and the love of comic books, and I can assure you that nothing about that has changed about me, and I hadn't really put too much thought into it. I have kind of avoided talking about selling comics and the value of comics on this channel because for me, it's about the love of the characters and the love of the medium, and that is still what drives me in this new chapter of my life of selling and collecting. And I wanted to talk a little bit about that because this is something I haven't really gone in depth about on the channel, and I've kind of avoided it in a way, and I've kind of tried to find ways to integrate it into my normal content so it isn't too jarring, because something I don't really like is when somebody starts selling comics and that becomes their entire channel and they kind of move away a little bit from the storytelling and the art and the other things that make comics so great. So that is something I've always wanted to avoid, but I would be lying to you if I said that I never thought about selling any of my comics, if I never thought about trimming some of the fat out and maybe getting some bigger and better things for myself. And it is something that I've thought about for a while. I actually have thought about starting a booth at the antique mall for a while before I actually got into it, but it's just a situation where I have a lot of stuff and I don't know, I didn't necessarily think it was the right stuff. You know, I'm a very niche collector. When it comes to my comic collecting, I mainly stick to DC titles. I don't know a whole lot of Marvel, and I just was not necessarily confident that I'd have stuff that people were looking for, so I kind of just avoided it, but I knew eventually, as most collectors get to a point where we just run out of space and it just becomes a little overwhelming and a little stressful. And I actually made a video a little while back about moving as a collector and how that experience kind of made me want to trim things down a little bit more. So how did I actually get to this point of selling comics? And when I say I accidentally started selling comics, I do genuinely mean that. And actually, I really have you guys to thank for kind of allowing me this opportunity by watching my videos and being so active in this community that we've built here. So one of the comic shows that I've done a lot of videos on, I've been a regular attendee for years, is the Buffalo Comic Con, and people there just tend to know me and recognize me, and whenever I don't show up at those shows, they tend to get a lot of questions about me, and it got to the point where the owner of Queen City Bookstore, who runs the Buffalo Comic Con, actually came to me and approached me about setting up as a guest at the Comic Con. So I was invited to attend. I did not pay to set up, and I was a little bit nervous to kind of talk about that because I thought that, there may be some kind of judgment there, but I don't really care anymore because I was invited based on the work that I've done, that I've proven myself to be able to promote comics and have an audience of people that actually cares what I'm saying. And so, yeah, I was invited to attend the show in February. I believe it was the end of February, the first one that I did, and that show went really well. I did a lot to promote it, and you guys really seemed to like the videos that I did, and I was really happy with the response that I got from that. And I did one more show. There were a bunch of shows going on, and I couldn't do all of them, so I picked a couple. I think I did the one in February and the one in April. And the one in April, definitely, I will be honest, it just was not as busy as the one in February. So, I would not say it was a failure though. I still definitely made a little bit of money, and I was able to talk to some really cool people and get some really great books for my collection. And I didn't end up filming that show because I just didn't really want to retread the same water again and make kind of the exact same video as I did before. And that was just my decision. I did film a little bit, but I ultimately just didn't really like how it came together, and so that wound up being scrapped, and that was part of the reason why I kind of had such a long gap on my channel where there wasn't a lot of content. And I know that there were some people that were worried about me. There were some comments and some people that were a little bit concerned I was giving up on YouTube, but I kind of felt like I was in a little bit of a corner where I felt like I needed to make that video, but I just wasn't feeling it, and I had to kind of make the decision there that I'm not going to be pressured to make videos that I don't necessarily believe in. And I'm not saying that anyone from any shop has ever pressured me to make a video. I think it's more myself, and you know, of course, when I go, people want to show me cool things, but during that sort of gap period, I had to sort of think about what I want this channel to be moving forward, and I still do want to go out and promote other shops, but I have also really feel like I've kind of retread a lot of the same water when it comes to some of the shops in my area. I've made a lot of videos at a lot of the same shops, and it gets kind of tiring to me sometimes. And over the course of the last couple months, I've kind of done a little bit of thinking about what I want to do with this channel. And of course, I am incredibly grateful for the invitation. And of course, if I am invited to any more shows coming up, I would definitely consider doing another one. I've had people ask me, now that I'm doing the antique booth, if I would do any more comic shows, and I definitely would consider it. I don't necessarily think I have the inventory yet to kind of justify paying for a table at a show with all the work that goes along with setting up for a comic show, because there is a lot that goes into that as well. And so I think that if I am invited to do more, I probably will do more, but for right now, I think that what I'm doing at the antique booth, it really works for the kind of collection that I have, and it kind of, I think, works to my benefit a little bit that I have more of a niche collection. And I do think eventually, if I continue buying and selling, I may have to, kind of dip into a little bit of stuff that I might not know as much about right now, and I may have to learn a little bit more about Marvel. I guess that's what I'm going to say. I might have to learn a little bit more about Marvel, but I really, really like my DC books, and it really does pain me to sell them. Like, I buy my comics because I like them, but I know in my heart that a lot of these are just sitting in boxes, and if I could get something that is going to spark more joy into me, I would much rather have something that I can put neatly in my Batman long boxes. So the second comic show was at the end of April, and about a week later was when I started my antique booth at the Niagara Emporium. And what was nice about that was that I already had a lot of stuff priced and ready to go from the show, so I just kind of took it over to the antique mall, and I have been, gradually adding different things and swapping things out. I need to make a video there because I actually just added a clothing rack with a bunch of t-shirts and other really cool things, so I'm pretty excited about that. At the antique mall, what I like about it is that I'm able to do more and I'm able to bring in other sides of my collecting outside of just the comics. Like, you guys might know that I have a big music collection, I have a big movie collection, I just have lots of random collections, and the antique mall is the perfect place for just an assortment of weird things. So overall, I really like the experience. I really like that it's a way to kind of get things out of my house and have them neatly somewhere else instead of just taking up space here. And just like doing the comic shows, I was a little bit on the fence about starting at the antique mall because I think everyone worries about losing money. And, like I said, I'm not necessarily the most confident in my collection. I don't necessarily want to sell a lot of the books I have that are super valuable, but I think I've been able to make do, and at the Niagara Emporium, I think they're very reasonable with their prices. So after a little while of doing one case there, I was feeling so good about it that I added a second one directly across from it, and I think that that was the right decision to make. And I'm not going to say that one is necessarily better than the other. I think that comic shows have their time and place, but I think that for me, for the stuff that I have, like, people go to comic shows because they want to buy key books a lot of the time. People are mainly going there because they want bigger things, and that's not necessarily what I have, but it's just, it's been a learning experience, as most things are, as I'm sure setting up at a lot of comic shows would be as well. And I am not going to say that I know everything. I'm still learning. Like, I've had people ask me for advice on setting up at shows, and I don't really have any. Set your expectations for what you have, and that's kind of what I did. Like, I knew that I wasn't going to be the most popular seller there. I didn't have wall books. I just had some of what I thought was cool stuff that was all relatively affordable. But I know that people, they walk in and they immediately go for the big spots, the big walls, and I get it. And so that is probably the biggest piece of advice I would give to anyone who's getting into selling comics, is just set your expectations. And for the shows, I definitely set them low, and I think I did probably better than I expected. And with the antique mall, I think that the barrier to entry is a little bit lower, and it's a little bit less stressful because I'm not, having to lug as much around. I can just put it there and then go and change things out as I please, and I really enjoy it. It's just been a very good experience so far, and I'm really excited to continue to grow it. I do want to share that with you guys on the channel because it's something that I am proud of. I'm very proud of how far I've come with both this channel and just with me, and being able to break out of my shell. And really, you guys are to thank for it, and maybe me too. I may have done a little bit of work to get there, but you guys being as passionate and like championing me as much as you have has really done a lot, because I'm definitely not like the most popular YouTuber or the most popular comic seller by any means, but I'm me, and I'm just telling you guys how it is, and you guys appreciate that, and I appreciate you. This has been kind of a weird and like unexpected transition that my channel's been going through, and I feel good about it, but that doesn't mean that things are changing. That just means that there will be kind of new, different content. Like, I think it'd be fun to make videos showing you guys what I'm bringing to the antique mall with me. Maybe not every time, but maybe if I have like a day where I'm bringing a lot of stuff. I still want the main focus of this channel to be the love of collecting and not necessarily the monetary value of it. And being able to help people build a really cool collection is just something that gives me a lot of joy, and I want to be able to document that with you guys if you are interested in it, which you do seem to be. And yeah, thank you guys. Seriously, thank you for the warm response that I've gotten, because that is something that I was a little worried about, because, you know, you see a lot of people start out collecting comics or Pokemon and then they kind of transition into selling, and you know, you get people throwing out words like sellout and grifter, and I am still all about the love of comic books here and just helping people build really cool collections, and I appreciate that you guys have been so cool. But overall, it seems like the response to me selling comics has been really positive, and I think it's because you guys can see that, like, doing this just kind of brings something out in me. Like, there's just a joy that I feel right now that I haven't really felt in a long time. Like, it just feels good. There's something about it that really feels good, and to know that I still have the support of my community, it really means a lot, and I hope to continue to grow this community. And I just want to let you guys know nothing is changing about this channel. It just might get a little bit better, but I hope you guys can see why lately I haven't had as much time to do live streams or more heavily edited videos, because there's been a lot going on behind the scenes just to make what you've seen happen, and I can't wait to continue it, but I also can't wait to get back and read more of my comics again. I really haven't been reading a whole lot, and I really haven't been researching for videos a lot lately, and that's all stuff I really want to get back into. And now that things are kind of set up at the antique booth, I mean, it's never over. I'm always going to be buying new things, adding new stuff to it, but now that, like, the bulk of the work is done, I really want to try and get this channel back to what I started it as. But the videos about selling do seem to do well. You guys seem to really enjoy that side of it, and I want to keep bringing you guys that cool content because I enjoy it as well. So nothing's changing, it's just getting better, and I hope you stick around for it. And just one more thing, guys. One big struggle I've had with doing this antique booth is that I absolutely suck at self-promotion. Like, I hate it to my core. I hate promoting myself. Like, I don't know how people do it. Like, when it comes to shilling other people's shit, I am great at it. I'll be like, dude, you gotta get here right now. This is the best shit in the fucking world. But when it's my shit, I'm like, it's there if you want it. But anyways, I think that's it for today. Thank you for watching, and as always, have a good day. Peace out.